feeling utterly scattered lately. Like your attention is constantly being pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah.
Your phone, your computer, every single notification under the sun.
It's relentless.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
This constant tug of war, this hyper-connected world, and, well, our battle for just a moment of quiet focus.
Mm-hmm.
So today, in the deep dive, we're not just, looking at this modern tech overload. We're really diving into its heart.
Okay.
And here's the surprising thing from our sources. The answer to reclaiming our attention might not be in the latest app, but maybe in wisdom from millennia ago.
That's the fascinating angle, yeah.
We're looking at a really interesting stack of research here. It explores how ancient philosophies offer not just ideas, but practical, actually potent techniques for mastering your mind. Right now, in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a life where you're not constantly battling distractions, okay? Where deep focus comes, maybe a bit more naturally. And your phone feels like a tool, a precise, useful tool, not some demanding master.
And what's truly fascinating here, and this is what our sources really dig into, is how these ancient thinkers didn't just experience distraction like we do. They sort of predicted this very struggle.
Predicted it. Wow.
Yeah, they understood the human mind's inherent tendency to wander, to chase novelty, even without the glowing screens we deal with.
Right. It's not just the tech then.
Exactly. Everyone's telling you to digital detox, aren't they? Just turn off your phone. But what if the deeper problem isn't the technology itself, but how we've been sort of conditioned, maybe, to engage with it?
Ah, okay. The conditioning.
Yeah. So this deep dive isn't about just simple abstinence. It's about fundamentally rethinking our relationship with our devices. Our mission today is really to unearth these revolutionary attention techniques from ancient minds, wisdom that is, frankly, shockingly relevant to mastering your focus in this always-on world.
Okay, so let's unpack this modern dilemma then.
Yeah.
What exactly is happening to our brains in this digital age? It really does feel less like we're using tech and more like we're under siege sometimes.
It does.
Can you shed some light on what our sources are calling the great attention robbery?
It's such an apt description, isn't it? Attention robbery. Our sources paint a really vivid picture. Our brains are constantly under siege.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about your average day, right? Notifications pinging from everywhere, the endless, kind of seductive scroll of social media feeds.
The scroll.
And that pervasive, almost primal fear of missing out, FOMO, that keeps us just reflexively checking our devices.
Constantly.
But here's what the sources make startlingly clear. This isn't an accident. This attention robbery isn't some unfortunate bug. It's very much a feature.
The feature, you mean designed?
Absolutely. Tech companies have meticulously engineered their platforms using algorithms, endless scroll, intermittent rewards, specifically designed to hijack our focus.
Wow.
This isn't just a side effect. It's a deliberate design philosophy. It fuels a multi-billion-dollar industry built entirely on capturing and sustaining and, well, monetizing your attention.
And the consequence of all that hijacking, beyond just feeling, a bit frazzled, what's the real cost the sources point to?
Well, this raises an absolutely critical question, and the research is pretty clear. The alarming consequence is a measurable erosion of our ability to concentrate for sustained periods.
I feel that.
We're losing that mental endurance, for deep work, for complex problem solving, even for genuine present conversation. And this impact, it just ripples through everything. Our work quality suffers, our capacity for deep learning goes down, our relationships can become shallower because, well, we're physically there, but mentally somewhere else. Pretty much. It leads to a diminished quality of life, this constant sense of fragmentation. One source, a behavioral psychologist, put it really bluntly. They said, we're trading minutes of fleeting digital engagement for hours of profound, meaningful focus that used to define human accomplishment.
Oof, that is hard.
It does. So this isn't just about lost productivity, you see. It's about a fundamental diminishment of what it means to be fully present and engaged in your own life.
That's a stark picture.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting and maybe surprisingly hopeful.
Yes.
Our sources suggest these philosophers from millennia ago, they might have not only anticipated this struggle, but actually forged the very tools we need today.
Exactly.
That makes you wonder about the universality of the human experience across time, doesn't it? What can these ancient minds really teach us about getting our attention back?
It really is a powerful testament to, well, timeless human nature. when we connect this to the bigger picture, these ancient philosophies aren't just quaint historical things. They offer really robust, enduring frameworks for mental discipline.
Yeah, like what?
Well, take Stoicism, for instance. Our sources really emphasize how its core principle, the dichotomy of control, is such a radical antidote to digital overwhelm.
Dichotomy of control. Explain that a bit.
Okay, so it teaches you to intensely focus only on what is genuinely within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, and to crucially release the anxiety over what isn't.
Like external events.
Exactly. External events, other people's opinions, or, and this is key for us today, those incoming notifications.
Okay. So you just let them go.
You acknowledge them, but you don't let them control your inner state. There's this great historical anecdote about Seneca, a big Stoic name, advising his friend Lucilius to ignore the clamor of the Roman Forum and withdraw into himself.
Withdraw into it.
Yeah. Now just swap Roman Forum for social media feed, right? And you've got a perfectly applicable technique for resisting the tech that's constantly pulling at your attention. It's a fundamentally different and maybe more robust mental framework than just relying on willpower.
Right. So it's less about fighting the urge constantly and more about reframing what's actually worth your mental energy.
Precise.
Okay. And what about other ancient traditions? Do they offer similar tools?
Oh, absolutely. Then there's Buddhist mindfulness. Our sources highlight this as a direct counter-strategy to how apps exploit the brain's reward pathways.
How so?
Well, the practice of cultivating present moment awareness trains your mind. It helps you observe thoughts and sensations without judgment, without immediate reaction.
It's not emptying your mind, but observing.
Exactly. It's about detaching from that constant pull of notifications and digital noise. You ground yourself in the here and now. You become an observer of your impulses rather than just a slave to them.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you're scrolling through a feed. Instead of just reflexively reacting, clicking, comparing, getting annoyed, you simply observe the urge. You notice it. And then you consciously choose whether to engage or just let it pass.
That breaks the automatic cycle.
It's a powerful disruption to that automatic programming, yes.
That sounds incredibly liberating, actually. But is there a philosophical angle on just, well, knowing when enough is enough, when to just put the phone down?
Definitely. Our sources also dig into Aristotle's virtue of temperance. He talked about finding balance and moderation in all things, cultivating habits that lead to human flourishing rather than excess.
Temperance, like moderation.
Yes, exactly. Applied today, this isn't just about not looking at digital content. It's about intentional engagement. It's the philosophical basis for asking yourself, is this digital interaction actually serving my purpose right now, or is it just draining my energy?
That's a good question to ask.
It is. One ancient text referenced in our sources talks about the importance of right measure in all activities, understanding that too much of anything, even, good things, can become a vice.
Too much screen time, even if it's productive.
Potentially, yes. It's about cultivating a conscious, balanced relationship with technology, preventing that slide into compulsive usage. So you see, these aren't just abstract ideas. They offer remarkably practical perspectives on managing both our inner thoughts and our outer world of digital demands.
That's incredibly powerful. It's like a blueprint for internal discipline and conscious choice. But I'm curious then, how do we bridge this incredible ancient wisdom to our actual screen habits right now?
Yeah, the practical application.
How do these deep philosophical ideas like Stoicism or mindfulness actually translate into strategies for navigating smartphones, social media today? It feels like a big leap, ancient scrolls to touchscreens.
It's actually less of a leap than you might think. The beauty is in how directly applicable they are. For instance, that Stoic discipline we mentioned, it directly inspires what people now call digital minimalism.
Digital minimalism, I've heard that term.
Right. And it's not about total abstinence, remember? It's about intentional, purposeful use of technology. One of our sources, drawing from both philosophy and modern behavioral science, defines it as a philosophy of technology use where you focus your online time on a small number of carefully selected and optimized activities that strongly support your deepest values.
Okay.
And then happily miss out on everything else.
Happily miss out. I like that.
It's about making your tech serve you, not the other way around, by consciously pruning away the superficial stuff.
So it's not really about willpower so much as designing your digital life.
Yeah.
Guided by, intention?
Precisely. It's proactive design. And then taking a page from Buddhist principles, we get the mindful scroll.
The mindful scroll. Okay, tell me more.
This just means applying that present moment awareness to your social media habits. So instead of unconsciously tapping an app and just falling into the rabbit hole.
Which is so easy to do.
So easy. You pause before you tap, or maybe as you're scrolling, you just ask yourself, why am I doing this right now? What am I hoping to get? Am I genuinely enjoying this? Or am I just, reacting to an impulse?
Checking in with yourself.
Exactly. That simple conscious act helps you detach from the automatic pull that platform designers have, frankly, engineered. You kind of break the spell.
That's a great practical application. Okay, and for Aristotle's temperance, that idea of balance, how do we manifest that with our devices?
Right. For Aristotelian balance, we can create tech boundaries and what some sources call sacred unplugged times.
Sacred unplugged times. I like the sound of that.
It just means setting clear, deliberate limits on when and where technology is allowed, dedicate specific periods to completely disconnect from devices and just recharge.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. Our sources suggest really concrete things, maybe a simple rule like no phones at the dinner table. That's a classic.
Yeah.
Or making the first hour of your day completely screen-free. Dedicating it to deep work or reflection or genuine interaction with your family, maybe.
That first hour, that could change a lot.
It really could. One study cited even found that families who consistently enforced these no-phone zones reported significantly higher levels of perceived closeness and, interestingly, reduced conflict.
Wow. Okay.
So these aren't just like nice habits, they're ancient wisdom applied directly to the specific challenges of modern life.
Okay, let's get even more concrete then, because our sources also offer some specific, really actionable tools that anyone listening can start using, like today.
Absolutely. Practical steps.
What are some of these hacks, if you will, for managing our attention drawn from these timeless principles?
You're right. There are very tangible, immediate steps you can take. One highly effective method, which really echoes that Stoic discipline, focusing on what's in your control, is the single-task sprint.
Single-task sprint,
Yeah.
like the Pomodoro technique.
Similar idea, yeah. It involves dedicating a focused period, say 25 minutes, to just one task, and crucially, free from any interruptions.
Okay, zero interruptions.
Seriously. Turn off all notifications, close irrelevant tabs, maybe even put your phone in another room. For that sprint, it's just you and that one thing. This simple practice, even if you just do it once a day, quickly builds incredible focus and momentum. It literally trains your brain to sustain attention. Think of it like a mental workout for your focus muscles.
I like that framing a workout for focus. So it's about actively building that muscle, not just hoping it shows up.
Exactly. You have to exercise it.
What else? Any other tools?
Another crucial tool, and this aligns really well with the mindful approach, is actively curating your digital environment.
Curating, like an art gallery.
Kind of, yeah. It means taking active, conscious control over what information comes in. So disable all non-essential notifications. Truly, ask yourself, do you really need to know every time someone likes a post or some random app has an update?
Probably not.
Probably not. Unfollow accounts that just contribute to noise or negativity or simply don't add real value to your life. One source describes it perfectly as decluttering your digital landscape.
Like decluttering your house.
Exactly like that. It's about designing your digital space so it actively supports your focus and well-being instead of constantly detracting from it.
Makes sense. And what about those times when we just need a complete break? Like totally unplug?
Ah, yes. That brings us to the power of the tech timeout. These are scheduled, complete disconnection periods.
Scheduled being the key word.
Absolutely. The key here is scheduled. These aren't reactive breaks you take only when you're already feeling completely fried.
Right, not damage control.
No, they're proactive times you deliberately set aside to recharge and engage with the real world.
Okay. How long should these be?
It could be anything. An hour in the evening, maybe an entire weekend day, or even, if you can manage it, a pre-planned, week-long digital detox vacation. Think of it like giving your brain a mini vacation.
A brain vacation. I need one of those.
Don't we all? It's a chance to process, to reflect, to reconnect with your actual environment and the people around you without that constant digital buzz. And our sources really indicate these small, manageable steps, the sprint, the curating, the timeout when you do them consistently, they can lead to surprisingly significant shifts in your ability to focus and just your overall sense of well-being.
This has been an incredible deep dive. Really fascinating stuff. So let's bring it back to the listener. What does this all mean for you? When you start to reclaim your focus, maybe using some of these ancient-inspired techniques, what can you actually expect?
Yeah.
Our sources point to some pretty profound benefits, don't they?
They really do. Absolutely. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, reclaiming your attention, it isn't just about being more productive. I mean, that's a nice outcome for sure.
Sure, that helps.
But it's really about leading a more fulfilling, more present life. The profound benefits highlighted in our sources include things like deeper learning.
If you can actually focus.
Exactly, because you can actually concentrate on complex information and, importantly, retain it. It also leads to stronger, more authentic relationships.
Oh, so.
Because you're truly present with the people around you. You're making eye contact. You're actively listening. You're not half distracted by your phone buzzing in your pocket.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
It really does. And maybe most excitingly, it fosters increased creativity. Your mind finally has the space to wander productively,
Yeah.
to make novel connections, to innovate without being constantly interrupted by digital noise. It allows your true creative self to actually emerge.
It really sounds like it's about taking back control. Control over your own mind, your own attention.
That's exactly it. Control your focus. Don't let it control you. That's the core message. It's a profound shift in how you can live your life.
So a call to action then.
Definitely. I genuinely encourage you, everyone listening, just start with one small change. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Perhaps try a single task sprint for your next important piece of work.
Just 25 minutes.
Just 25 minutes. Or schedule a short tech timeout during your lunch break. Just put the phone away and be present with your food, your surroundings. Start your own attention revolution. What stands out to you from today's deep dive? What's one thing you think you could implement this very week? Just think about how you can cultivate a little more of this ancient wisdom in your modern digital life.
The promise, as our sources really show, is a more engaged life, a more present life, and ultimately, a more fulfilling life. Thank you for diving deep with us today.